The government's response to COVID was designed to enhance corporate profit. Inflation was completely intentional, and we have receipts to prove it. So you remember back in 2020 when the stock market did this because of the thing, and that was the excuse for printing trillions of dollars? Yeah, let's follow some of that money and see where it wound up. If you remember, we printed all that money because businesses were going to collapse. The economy was going to go under. So did businesses collapse? Well, small businesses did. But it turns out that big businesses and corporations did pretty fucking well. Over the first 22 months of the pandemic, Albertsons' profits increased by 325%, Amazon's by 100%. You'll notice that most of the big gainers were massive grocery stores, whose competition was conveniently forced to close. What's more, you'll notice that on average, their revenue went up by 22% across these brands, but their profits went up by 45%. Why are they making so much more money compared to their revenue all of a sudden? That's weird. Their stock prices also went up by an average of 65%. Guess who held all those stocks? That's right, rich people, because poor people don't have enough money to buy stocks. The richest 5% of households captured more than 70% of the wealth gains of US shareholders. You'll notice that this graph scale actually starts with that category over there on the left is the entire bottom 50% of the US. And up here, this whole section is actually only 5% of the population. From January 2020 to October 2021, Jeff Bezos' personal wealth went up by $110 billion. As it turns out, while we were forcing all mom and pop's businesses to close for everyone's greater good, all these mega corporations were recovering just fine. This chart shows the point where the company broke back even with its previous stock price before COVID, and then the gains incurred since. And you'll notice that companies like Amazon aren't even on this list because they never had substantial losses. They were up only the whole way through. And anyone familiar with the stock market will know that after this horrible COVID crash, what did the stimulus do? Well, it surged stock prices into the craziest bubble of our lifetimes. And you know what all the CEOs and insiders did during this bubble? That's right. They sold right here to make billions and billions of dollars right before we all had to pay the bill in consequences.